business end up getting behind Obama if he emerges as a Democratic frontrunner?
Because is the theory you don't want to throw good money after something that's not really going to be a winner? That's the question. Our Fox panel back now to talk about it. Peter Schiff, let's get your thought right away.
I gave my $2,300 to Ron Paul, and that's the only money I'm donating. But yeah, I'm sure that the big businesses, they'll get behind Barack, especially since it looks like he's probably going to get the nomination, and whoever wins on the Democratic nomination is going to win in a landslide. So big business, they want something from politicians. They're always in bed together, so they're going to give Barack money because they think that when he becomes president, they're going to get it back in some type of special favor, whatever influence they can buy.
Pat?
I'm just as jaded. It's all about power. It's all about access. And that's why they're giving to more than one candidate. They are hedging their bets. They want access if that candidate actually takes off. Now, that doesn't say that some of them don't actually believe in the candidates. But when you're giving to 4 or 5 candidates, you're pretty much covering the entire field.
Well, Brenda, John Mack of Morgan Stanley, he raised money for Bush in 2004, but he's just picking one candidate this time around, and it's Hillary Clinton. Not to say that he wouldn't shift money if she doesn't get in, but that's who he's going with.
Yeah, I think that's true, especially for a lot of people who lived in New York, the center of much business here, did give to Clinton. But it was interesting to see that we did see Bill Gates and Warren Buffett going with both Clinton and Obama. You're seeing a lot of that. I mean, politicians, important people, they like winners, so they're going to go with winners. And eventually the money will go with the one who looks like he or she is edging forward. And at this point, it looks like that may be Obama.
Gwen, why are you snickering back there?
Well, they like winners. Larry Ellison owns Oracle, but he gave money to Rudy Giuliani. Clearly, he is no Oracle. Right. If you look at the money these guys, give to this, it's sort of like, who does the Pope like in the Super Bowl next year? There's no correlation there. It's outside their skill set.
Well, there are, Peter. There are some other ways in which, again, $2,300 isn't a lot of cash. But there are these things called bundlers.
Oh, they're lobbyists.
Sure. Well, okay, let's stay with you for a second there, Quentin. You can do lobbyists. You can also bundle your money. You can also contribute to organizations that do quasi-political campaign, or at least beating up on the other guy.
That's right. I mean, they give to political action committees in size. They really will give after the election in terms of the lobbyists and setting legislative policy. Right now, their money is around sentiment, what they think. In the end of the day, business is about efficacy and returns, so it happens once the laws start getting made.
Peter, Lloyd Blankfein, the CEO of Goldman Sachs, has put his money with Clinton and Dodd. Obviously, that's a play for Clinton at this point, along with Jamie Dimon of J.P. Morgan going with Clinton and Dodd. Do you get a sense that Wall Street also wants a change? I mean, all these Wall Street names going for the Democrats at this point.
Well, again, I think they can see clearly that the Democrats are probably going to win, and I think they might as well align themselves. I mean, I don't see how it's possible for John McCain. I mean, Bob Dole couldn't win, and I think he's not even going to be as strong a candidate as Bob Dole was. And we're going to be, remember, the election.
The national polls are showing very close race here with both Clinton, Obama, and McCain.
Yeah, but I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking of what the economy is going to be like come Election Day. I'm looking at how much worse the recession is going to be, how much higher oil prices will be, and food prices are going to be. And no one's going to vote to continue that. People are going to vote for change. Even if there's going to be change for the worse, they're not going to care. They're not going to re-elect a party that says, let's continue this, everything is great.
Well, if they're going for change, the name Clinton is pretty familiar. The name Obama is not as familiar.
He's a stronger candidate.
That's really correct. I think, though, what's really interesting, we're still a long way away from the election, and I think that John McCain has some interesting things that he brings to the table. He can actually swing some blue.
To what extent, even if you see the changing winds coming, and you try to back the money of the changing winds, whether it's Obama or Hillary, do they question whether the policies that these politicians are going to implement are going to help their business?
Again, I'm going to be rather jaded and say no. I think they're most interested in gaining access and power.
It's more important than tax policy or regulations?
Well, you and I would not agree with that. I wouldn't personally agree with that. I would back a candidate that I felt was the best candidate for the United States of America. But we're talking about something different here. I'm really jaded in this area.
These people, particularly the Wall Street guys, They're money people. They don't do things magnanimously in many regards. I mean, maybe Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, who feel that they have enough that they can make this.
Well, they want to pay higher taxes.
They know. They know. Well, Dick Full doesn't seem to be worried about it, nor does Lloyd Blankfein. And these guys know what the policies, or at least the basic outlines of the policies, would be for Clinton and Obama. They don't seem afraid and running scared to
No, it's
McCain.
very interesting. And really, there's not that much difference policy-wise between Obama and Clinton, unless you take a look just at the universal health care. There's a huge difference, though, between McCain and the other side, and I don't think you can count McCain out yet.
I don't think
we
the difference
have a
is
lot
as big as you think.
Well, between McCain and...
You know what? There's some huge differences when it comes to tax policy.
Yeah.
When you look at Obama, he's very much in favor of raising eliminating the Social Security limit. That's a huge payroll tax that's going to have gigantic implications for jobs in this country. When you look at Clinton, the cost of universal health care, as she defines it, is going to put a tremendous amount of burden on the taxpayers' back, as well as companies.
But I can't leave out my mother's favorite contributor, Quentin Hardy's been sitting out there lonely, waiting for a chance to get in. Go ahead, weigh in on this, particularly on the business end, Quentin.
Well, I think, what you have to look at in this case is that all three are promising something in terms of a more balanced budget and a healthier base, and they all like that. They're lining up with the country in that. The kind of free spending, lack of regulation, lack of foresight mood we've had for several years really doesn't appeal to the larger electorate or to Wall Street. Wall Street benefits from a good, solid base in the healthy country. That's what you see today in terms of the banks trying to establish who actually can pay their mortgages and who ought to be cleaned out. That's what you see in terms of who the country's backing and who Wall Street's backing.
Promises are pretty cheap, though, especially on the campaign trail, and I'm not so sure we're going to see an end to spending by anybody who gets in there.
And $2,300 is not a lot of money to these players.
To the CEOs, yeah, I was going to make that
point. For most of these guys, $2,300, they got more money falling behind their couch than $2,300.
Oh, boy, I'd love to clean out those couches.
Under the cushions
Absolutely.
there. Thank you.
Thanks, gang. Well, a lot